All right, guys, look, it is 6:32. Let's go ahead and get back into a little bit more music. Let's play some Tony Saunders, The Lady in My Life. This is the Sunday Jazz Experience on 90.5 WKHS FM Worton. Yeah, let's get it.
Do it.
I was out there. I was, still a board member for Sumner Hall. And we went out there one day during, I think it was in March of 2018. And they asked us to come out and talk to the students where, we go in during the day because the students are there. The students wanted to know different tips on how to dress for interviews. And I said, yeah, we can do that. And so myself and two other board members, Milford Murray and Carol Neiman, said, Carol said, yeah, Yvette, come on out. We can interview live on the radio. I said, that'd be cool. And we went out there, and I was sitting there talking, and Chris Singleton, we were sitting there interviewing, and we were talking to the student was asking us questions right on the radio. And Chris said, have you ever thought about being on radio? I said, oh, heck yeah. And he said, if you did radio, he said, what type of show would you do? Oh, I said, that's easy. I would do jazz and blues. That's easy. That's not even, it'd be jazz and blues. Okay. And he said, look, here's my card. I said, okay, what do you want me to give you a card for? Gave me his card and said, okay, I want to diversify WKHS. I want to bring in new voices, and I want to bring in and diversify what we have on air. So I left and I said, yeah, right. And I just threw the card in the pot. In October 2018, he calls me. And he said, hi, this is Chris. And I said, who is this? How did you get my phone number? And he said, this is Chris. And I said, Chris who? He said, Chris Singleton from WKHS. I said, oh, how you doing? Nice to hear from you. And he said, are you ready for your show? I said, what show? I said, you were serious about that? Really? I said, oh, shut the front door. I was like, oh, my gosh. I said, oh, my gosh, he was serious? I said, you were actually said, yes, I'm serious. He said, let me know when you're ready to get your show on. Let me know what you're going to do. I said, we're going to do the jazz and blues. He said, you got to come up with a name. You've got 2 hours on Sunday and from 6 to 8. I said, yeah, let's do it from 6 to 8 p.m. He said, okay, call me when you're ready to, let me know what day we're gonna debut. I said, okay. And so I was like, I got the phone. I said, oh my Lord Jesus, what is going on? I said, okay, I have no experience on the radio. I have nothing. But he said, that's okay. He said, because I like your voice, and your voice is great. And so Lang Hartridge, who we knew from Sumner Hall, and we knew Arlene because his wife was, working with Sumner Hall and stuff with the social justice committee and stuff. And Lane had been on the air there for like almost, 10 years or so. And he said, don't worry, Yvette, I got you. And so I met up with him and met him at the library. He said, look, I'm going to give you 200 songs to start you out. I said, oh, good, because I don't have nothing. And he said, I'm going to just show you what you need to do. He said, when you debut on November the 18th, 2018, he said, I'm going to come in. And I asked Milford, I said, Milford, you got to come in as a co-host. I said, we got to. I said, you have to be there. You're the historian. Milford's like the historian around here. I mean, Uptown Club. And I mean, he used to work there as a child. But his mother used to be the cook for numerous of years. He saw everybody come through there. Temptations and James Brown and I mean, everybody come through there. And I said, Milford, you have got to be on the show with me because you're going to provide the history to help me with the history. And then I called Sam and I said, Sam, you have got to come in. Sam's my tech guy. He has his own studio in his little recording studio. And so he plays percussions and everything. And I said, Sam, you got to come in because he knew all about the tech and the board and all that stuff. And I said, okay, I got my people. I'm ready to go. So, and we started November the 18th, which was my father's birthday. And we started on the air at 6 o'clock. And it's been, 4.5 years? So far. We've been going like gangbusters ever since. We have changed a little bit because what we've been trying to do with the show is, I said, God gave me this show. I said, now I've got to give back. I sat with my co-host. I said, we have to give back. So one of our main focuses now is to identify those independent artists who don't get a chance to get their music out. So if I see somebody on Instagram, I was like, who are you? And especially if they're local, I try to call them up and go, look, can you want to come down to the station and interview and play on the air? Can you bring your music? Can you send it to me in an MP3? And so I can shoot it through, and then we're going to talk to you a little bit. We're going to find out how you got into music, why did you write this song? And then we bring them in on the radio station, and we bring them in on air. We just had a couple of weeks ago, we just had the former lead singer of Atlantic Star, which was a huge R&B group. We just had a couple of people from New Jersey come down. He just put out a couple of albums. I'm like, yes, honey. We just had Anthony Turk Cannon, who was here at the Juneteenth and for a couple of years, and we've had him. He lives now in York, Pennsylvania, but he's originally from St. Michael's, Maryland. He's a jazz saxophonist, huge following. He has got songs out, and I said, brother, anytime you want to come down with a new song, send it to me, and we're going to play it on the air, and we're going to introduce it and talk about it and share it. But that's how we've evolved. We're still playing our jazz, traditional jazz, contemporary, and alternate or whatever, in our blues. And sometimes we'll go across the street, down the road, and around the corner is what I call. And we'll dig back into some Aretha Franklin, because that's me. And we'll dig back into some old R&B, and we'll do. We also involve the show by doing a featured artist. At 7 o'clock, we do our featured artists, and we're playing vinyl. So my co-hosts have gotten broke. They have bought hundreds of dollars of albums, and we will talk about that featured artist. Everybody from Oscar. Last week we did Oscar Peterson, and we've done everybody from John Coltrane. We've done Etta James. We've done the Four Tops. We've done Barry White. We've done Earl Gardner, but we talk about that artist, and we sort of educate who they were, what they did, and then we'll pick 4 selections off of that album. We're actually playing vinyl, because there's 2 big turntables right there, and so we're actually playing vinyl, so that we can get them to hear what that vinyl used to sound like with the crackling, and hear who these guys were. Shirley Scott was one of the first, organists, in the Jimmy Smith Jimmy Smith style. And the only black, really, female organist back in those days that did bop and bebop. Yeah.
That's really so important.
And we also do that with nonprofits as well, because the station is a student public radio. So we want to give those nonprofits who want to talk to the community about different events that are going on. And we also get those nonprofits who want to just get their word out. We've had everybody from community mediation here in Chestertown. We've had Sumner Hall definitely come in and talk about their different programs, because we sit on the board, so we talk about a lot about that. We also share different events like Rams Head over in Annapolis, different events that are going about jazz and blues that people want to find out, hey, you want to go to hear some jazz? Here's where you can go. We do different announcements about anything going on in Chestertown or Kent County, or just all over Maryland, especially the Eastern Shore, and especially like over in Annapolis, that area, because we know from here they can get there easily.